Well, hello everybody. God bless you so very much. Hey, look, just wanted to shoot you just a quick note, and I will make this as fast as possible. But just wanted to shoot you a quick note. I know that we stated that we would be going back into our building on this coming Sunday. I'm going to have to change that. I think we need a little more time. There are a couple of events that I think that were really pertinent in terms of where we are as a people, and I really, really pray that you guys are playing it safe. Um, and understand this: safe does not mean that faith is that faith is not applied. Understand this. Let me say that one more time. Safe, playing it safe, does not mean that you're not in faith. Understand this. There's such a thing, and heard Dr. Frederick K.C. Price talk about this many years ago. Uh, is it faith? Is it foolishness? Or is it presumption? And honestly, in this particular stage, I've talked to some that have, to my surprise, have actually said that they never did stop having church, physically gathering. And let me tell you something. Not only is that not wise in terms of just operating by the laws of the land, and I think it must be pretty clear according to Romans that God wants us to abide by the authorities that be. To not operate by that really is really going against God's order Himself. So, and that's one thing. And the second thing is that there's such a heavy contamination of some of the things that has been going on up to this point, with the coronavirus. Um, and I wanted to talk to you just a bit about that. So I really pray that you guys have been safe. You've been wearing your mask when you had to go out. You had your gloves on when you had to go out. But here's one of the things that's happened, and I've been keeping my eyes just kind of peeled on this, because there are two events, as I stated earlier, two events that I think were really pertinent. One was the holiday about almost a month ago now, I think, but the holiday, and people, the country were some of the country was basically in phase one of opening back up, and many people went to the beach. Many of what I saw that were not protected. That's one item that causes people to end up being carriers, whether they wanted to or not. They end up being carriers because they ingested or inhaled the virus and then exhale it on other people, and so that kind of does something. Now, the second thing was the protesting, and I don't have any problem with protesting, and I think it was certainly a good reason to be protesting. However, when we're unprotected, then that causes another thing, and there were crowds and crowds of people, and I think we were so geared around protesting that we forgot that there was a hidden enemy that that the devil has sent. a hidden enemy that called the virus, that people that will cause things to, just kind of bloom again or blossom again. Now, that being said, one of the things that I wanted to make clear was that, initially we started out, I believe it was last week, we started out, there was 3 states that had begun to spike again. Just a few days ago, there was 7 states that began to spike again. And just as of last night, there's 18 states that begin to spike. Now remember, there's only 50 states. And so now we're talking about now almost half of the United States are beginning to spike again. So one of the things that we want to do, and let me tell you what my objective is. My objective is to make sure that as a prophet of God, that I keep my ear to the mouth of God, make sure that whatever God says to me, I say to you. And understand this, and there is a very serious issue that we're encountering in this particular time, and you want to make sure that you are not caught in the test. Well, see, opening the country back up really has been a test, and obviously not everything is opened back up. Some people are really just understanding it's a test and don't want to be part of the test. Well, if you're out and about and you're just doing and you're carrying on business as usual, then you are literally stating that you don't mind you or any of those that you're responsible for being part of the test. Well, I'm just a little different in that. I like making sure. As a matter of fact, I love making sure that we are operating within the guidelines of what God is saying and what God is doing. Now understand this. When you are fighting an enemy that you can't see, it it becomes it becomes necessary that you make sure that your ears are working well where you hear God, and your sensitivity is at a complete height in God, where you know, where you can sense what is going on, where you should be, where you should not be. And I'm telling you right now, just being off just a little could make you a candidate, or you're already a candidate, but could make you a carrier of what you don't want. And it could very well limit it very well could stop your life before it was time to stop. And so I want to encourage you to make sure that you stay safe, stay in, and by all means, if you need to go out, and as I realize that some of you do, but if you need to go out, make sure that you are properly protected. Make sure that you have your mask on. Make sure that you're keeping a safe distance from people, and by all means, let's worship God and keep God as first place in our lives. And just and understand this, we've been worshiping, we've been online, and let's make sure that we don't let our guards down in this season, because this season has been designed to make sure that you and I are built up in the things of God. Because understand, when things go back to whatever that normal is going to look like, when things go back to that, God has an expectation that you will be stronger, that you will be greater, that you will be wealthier, more than anything that you have ever imagined. God is looking to be able to use you, and to use you at a level that you have never even dreamed. And so understand this. Make sure that you are that you are within the boundaries of what God is doing in this season. And while this whole judgment is going on, you want to make sure that you and all of those that you're responsible for are safe in the arms of Jesus. Understand this. It's not your time to go, but it is your time to be anointed of God. And that's what we're doing. We're becoming so saturated with the word. Understand this. Don't miss not one session that we're doing on Wednesdays. Don't miss not one session that we're doing on Fridays. And and by all means, don't miss not one session or service that we're doing on Sunday. This is your time. This is our time. And we are being thoroughly nourished in the word to make sure that we can carry things out the way God intended. Understand this, with long life, God will satisfy you and show you his salvation. But we have to make sure that we are under the shadow of his way. Hey, look, let's talk soon. God bless you.